What's up guys, Syiler here, and we're on the Mr. Pandaria beta again, and I'm just going to quickly, well, when I say quickly, we're going to run through the Paladin talent changes. So for those who don't know, you get a new talent point every 15 levels, and all 3 talent specs, unless you're a druid, you've got 4 talent specs, share the same talent tree. So Prot, Holy and Retribution will have the same talent choices. So as you can imagine, talents are very, they do a certain kind of thing. Each tier, one will be movement increase, one will be CC, healing, damage, like your big massive cooldown kind of thing. So I'm going to run through the different ones where I think they'd be used, etc. So the first one's Speed of Light, increase your movement speed by 70% for 8 seconds, it's on a 1-minute cooldown, and it's a cast, so it's another spell that you've got to use. The 70% movement speed is really nice, it'd make for a good gap closer. I'd see more Holy Paladins picking this up, being able to get to the target or get away from things. The other talents I think would be more suitable for a Ret or Prot, but having a little sprint as a Ret could be pretty nice. The problem is the 1-minute cooldown, it's too unreliable, or not unreliable, but not up frequent enough. As Ret, you need quite a lot of gap closes, you need to get to your target as soon as possible, so 1 minute for a little speed boost, not really beneficial. But as I said, Holy Paladins will probably look more towards Speed of Light, although a lot of people don't like having an extra button to press. They'd rather have something passive, which I don't blame them. It's, even though there's not a lot of buttons in WoW, if you're able to limit them, then why not? You don't really want to have extra buttons if you don't need it. The second one is Long Arm of the Law. A successful judgment increases your movement speed by 45% for 3 seconds. This is currently in for Retribution at the moment, something very similar. And this is probably the talent I'll pick up. It's a very good gap closer, judgment's off very quickly. So, yeah, you just judge a target at any range. At the moment you have to be a certain range before it'll work. But now in MoP you don't have to be any range, you can just use it like point blank if you wanted to get away from someone. Or you can use it to gap close, get towards a boss, get away from a boss. So yeah, I really do like Long Arm of the Law. And with judgments giving mana back to Holy Paladins, that may be what Holy Paladins pick up as well. We'll see. And the last one is Pursuit of Justice. You gain a 10% movement speed at all times, plus an additional 10% for every charge of Holy Power you have. So you get a passive 10%, which is going to be really nice. Just passive movement speed's always good in PvE. I'd imagine this will be what Prot Paladins pick up, and maybe Ret, because it's very quick for Rets to pick up 3 Holy Power, with Judgment giving it Holy Power, Exorcism giving Holy Power, Crusader Strike giving Holy Power, Hammer of Wrath giving Holy Power. Everything gives Holy Power, so it won't take very long to build up 3 charges. Now you notice Ret Paladins have got, well, all Paladins have an extra 2 Holy Power now, like a reserve tank. That doesn't count towards the talent. Those 2 Holy Power extra are just kind of reserved, they don't do anything. So you only get a max of 40% from this, but you can have 40% all the time if you're in combat, which would be really nice. So the problem is, as soon as you use your Holy Power, that's gone, you've got to build it up again. So we'll see. I think Long Arm of the Law will probably be what I pick up for Ret PvE. But the good thing is, talents are very easy to change now. It's similar to glyphs, you can just change them on the go. You can change each tier as you go. So level 30 tier, we have Fist of Justice, stun a target for 6 seconds, and it's on a 30-second cooldown. This will replace Hammer of Justice. So instead of having a 1-minute cooldown stun for 6 seconds, you'll have a 30-second cooldown stun for 6 seconds. So mainly a PvP talent. It may come in useful in certain PvE fights where there's going to be an ad that needs stunning and killing as soon as possible. For example, Blackhorn, you need to kill the Sapper. Is it called the Sapper? I think it's the Sapper. Before it gets inside the door. So yeah, it'll be useful in certain situations. Imagine more PvP talent than anything. The next talent we've got is Repentance. Now, the good thing about Repentance in MoP is it doesn't have a cooldown. You can put it on one target and then put it on another target, which makes it a hell of a lot more beneficial in PvP. And also useful in PvE. It stuns them for 1 minute, it'll be a lot less for players. Obviously, it won't stun a player for 1 minute, that'd be overpowered. But being able to swap it between players would be really nice. One guy comes along, you stun him, you start attacking his friend, you stun that guy, and then you go back into that guy, and you can just keep switching between them. Just a Paladin mess reap. So, yeah. Repentance, a really strong CC now, and it's available to Prot, Holy, and Ret. Burden of Guilt. Your judgment attacks slow the target for 12 seconds by 50%. Now, this is really strong, especially in PvP for Ret. Having that slow, 50% slow for 12 seconds is really nice, so by the time it wears out, you'll have it up again. The problem I see is that Seal of Justice at the moment, is it Seal of Justice? I think it's Seal of Justice. Yeah, Seal of Justice does the same thing, except it only slows them for 6 seconds for 50%. And you have to be in melee range for that to go off. You have to actually melee them for Seal of Justice to work. And you're also sacrificing your Seal DPS because you have to go from Seal of Truth to Seal of Justice. So, I'd imagine Burden of Guilt will be what a lot of Paladins pick up for PvP. Just due to the slow being overpowered. Especially Ret will pick up the slow in PvP, I reckon. Holy will probably pick up more Repentance or the stun. In PvE, I'll definitely be probably picking up Repentance for the majority of the things. It depends. This tier, there's not really been that much to CC, so I've not really needed Repentance. The third tier is Selfless Healer. Your successful judgments reduce the cast time of your next flash of light by 50%, and the effectiveness by 50% on when used on other targets. It stacks up to 2 times. So if you judge twice, you're going to get an instant flash of light. If you use it on a different target, it's going to heal for 100% more. The 100% more thing doesn't seem to work, I don't know at the moment. When I use it on myself and a different target, it heals for the same amount. So I'm not too sure what's going on with that at the moment. But very nice in PvP. You're going to have your Word of Glory, which you can use. And then you're going to have an instant flash of light. Really useful. Also useful in PvE for Holy, and maybe Ret as well, because you're always going to have that up. The problem is for Ret, it does take a good chunk of mana. It's about 20% mana to cast that. But at the moment, mana regen is really high. So, a good all-around talent. It's going to be useful in PvE for Holy and Ret, and even Prot. Because being able to off-heal yourself is always really good. Especially when you're being smashed in the face by a boss. Being able to just give yourself a quick flash of light without having to... well, only having to use a GCD is pretty damn good. Instant heals are always very nice. And especially for a Holy Paladin, being able to use it on a different target with 100% effectiveness of the heal. And an instant cast is... well, that's what you want, really. The next one is Eternal Flame. Consume up to 3 Holy Power to place a Holy Flame shield targeting a friendly target. It'll heal them for 1,599 per charge for 2.8 seconds for every 28 seconds. So it's basically a heal over time. Now, this is in place of Word of Glory. If this was kind of on top of Word of Glory, it wouldn't be too bad. But, like, if your Word of Glory healed them for X amount and then healed them over time, it would be decent. But you're sacrificing a Word of Glory for a heal over time. So, it's nice to have the option for heal over times. There's going to be some fights where you need a heal over time. I wouldn't say it's going to be picked up much in PvP. Well, I guess it could be in an arena match. Shove a quick hot on, because it does last for quite a long time. It lasts for 28 seconds. So, yeah, I don't think that'll be picked up by many people, though. I don't really heal much anymore, so I can't really say on the effectiveness of that, but yeah. And finally, Sacred Shield. We get the Sacred Shield. You can cast it as much as you want. It's insta-cast, it has no cooldown. It'll sponge a little bit of damage, and it'll also cause the target to take increased healing. So that's always good. You can use it on other people, so probably going to be used by Holy in PvE or PvP. Wouldn't see it being picked up by any Rets. Maybe Prots, though, being able to put an Absorb Shield on themselves is pretty nice. The Absorb Shield only absorbs every 6 seconds, I think it is. So, and it doesn't absorb that much, but an Absorb's still an Absorb. Whether that'll scale at higher level as well will be something to look out for. But yeah, Absorbs are always good. Okay, we've got a fucking block. Next up we have the level 60 talents. We have Hand of Purity. Places a hand on the friendly target, reducing the damage of harmful periodic effects by 70% for 6 seconds. It's on a 1 minute cooldown, but this is going to be really strong. In PvP, in certain situations, if you're up against a Warlock or a Shadow Priest, they've dotted you to crap. 70% minus damage from dots, they're hitting you for nothing. And also there's going to be certain fights where a boss puts damage over time effects on the tank or on certain players. That's going to be really useful, and I'll imagine that all Paladins will need to pick that up for those kind of fights. The shame is it's on a 1 minute cooldown, so it's not going to be usable that often, but still 70% damage reduction from damage over time. That's really strong. So yeah, I like that spell. It's not going to be usable all the time, it's going to be very situational, but that's the good thing about the new talent system. It's made so that you can switch it on the fly, so that you'll be changing them all the time, so you're not stuck to the same talents all the time. Next, Unbreakable Spirit. When Divine Shield, Divine Protection, and Laying Hands are on cooldown, spending Holy Power will reduce the cooldown. So you've used your Laying Hands, you can spam some buttons, use some Holy Power, and it'll slowly reduce the cooldown of Laying Hands. It only does up to a maximum of 50% of the cooldown, so you can't kind of spam Holy Power to get it off cooldown straight away. But it would be nice to have a short cooldown on Bubble and Laying Hands and things like that. It's not that great of a talent, really. The Divine Protection side would be pretty good for a prop Paladin, being able to reduce the cooldown of Divine Protection pretty quick, and having another like spammable damage reduction cooldown. Apart from that, I don't really see too much use for it unless I'm missing something there. Clemency, when activated, immediately finishes the cooldown on your Hand of Sacrifice, Hand of Freedom, and another hand. It's on a 5 minute cooldown, but yeah, it's going to be useful in PvP mainly. Being able to Hand of Freedom, it gets Spell Stole, whatever, you can use that, and then Hand of Freedom again to get away from your mage, so it's Iceland's in the crap in your face. And finally, the level 75 talent tree. This is all your big damage and healing abilities. Holy Avenger, abilities that generate Holy Power will generate 3 charges of Holy Power for the next 20 seconds. This is really strong as ret. Because of how many abilities you have that charge Holy Power, it's just generating you so much Holy Power, it is untrue. So you've got Crusader Strike, that'll generate 3 Holy Power. You've got Judgment, that'll generate another 3 Holy Power. You've got Hammer of Wrath, that'll generate another 3 Holy Power. Then you've got Exorcism, that'll generate another 3 Holy Power. So I'm going to pop all my cooldowns now. I'm just going to do like a basic sort of opening burst. So pop Wings and this Holy Avenger at the same time. And look how much Holy Power I'm gaining. So I use Crusader Strike, and then a Templar's Verdict, and then Exorcism, and a Templar's Verdict, and a Judgment, and a Templar's Verdict. So I'm just getting out really high burst. Now, Wings is on a 3 minute cooldown now, but Guardian's on a 3 minute cooldown as well. So it'll be harder to line up things as you normally would. But still, the burst is still there, which is good. The next talent in that tree is Sanctified Wrath. You gain... Oh, let me just turn that one off. You gain more frequent access to certain abilities when Avenging Wrath is active. So Holy, you get Holy Shock, Protection, you get Judgment, and Retribution, you get Hammer of Wrath. So as soon as you pop Avenging Wrath, you'll be able to spam Judgment, or you'll be able to spam Hammer of Wrath, or you'll be able to spam Judgment. Holy Shock, sorry. Really useful for a healer or a PvP ret. Just being able to look how many hammers I can dish out. But the problem with ret is that Wings gets dispelled or taken off you very easily in PvP. But apart from that, I wouldn't pick this up in PvE ret. It's just not as strong as the talent as the other ones. Would be useful on a fight where I'm not able to sort of melee for most of the fight. It's going to be like a ranged fight or something. Then yeah, it'd be decent there. Apart from that, I don't really see much of a use for it as ret. But Holy, it would be useful. Prot, not as much. And finally we have Divine Purpose. It does what it does at the moment. Abilities that cost Holy Power have a 15% chance to cause Divine Purpose. Divine Purpose, your next Holy Power ability that will consume no Holy Power and cast as if 3 Holy Power were consumed. So for example, you use a Templar's Verdict, you've got no holy power, that procs, you'll be able to use another Templar's Verdict straight after. Let's see if we can get a quick proc going. So it only works off holy power abilities, so only like Templar's Verdict or Word of Glory or Inquisition would actually activate it. There we go. So useful for proc, useful for holy, not as strong for rare. I'm definitely going to be picking up Holy Avenger. I really do like that talent. I don't know if they're going to nerf it or whatever, but yeah, it just seems really good for burst, especially on a 2-minute cooldown. It seems more of the logical choice. I'm sure soon the Elitist Jerks guys will work out and tell you how much DPS you'll gain from each, but my money's on Holy Avenger being the one that's the most DPS benefit to a ret at the moment. But we'll see, we'll see. I've been wrong before. It definitely won't be the last time. So yeah, I could see that the Divine Purpose being good for a holy, spamming Word of Glory or whatever. Maybe for proc, not as much. I don't really know what a proc Paladin would take in that tier. The Holy Avenger would be, the Avenger Wrath would, oh yeah, Holy Avenger would be pretty good due to being able to spam, heal yourself for a fight, pop that, Crusader Strike heal, whatever. That would be really strong for a tank, but apart from that, yeah, I don't know really what a proc would pick up. It's kind of a, I guess it's one of those situational things again, where it just depends on what fight you're doing, how much damage they're going to be taking, what the role is in the fight, and things like that. And the final abilities, level 90 will have Holy Prism, sends a beam of light towards the target, turning them into a prism of holy energy. If the enemy is in the prism, they take 11,000 holy damage and radiate healing, and if it's an ally, they'll be healed and radiate healing. So that's going to be a really strong healing talent. It's a big AoE heal. Light's Hammer hurls a light infused hammer into the ground where it will blast the area, dealing holy magic. Deals blah blah amount of damage and heals enemies, so that would be really good for proc. They'd be able to pick up a lot of AoE aggro and heal themselves while in it, so yeah. And Execution Stance, a hammer slowly falls from the sky, causing increased holy damage to for 10 seconds. If it's on an enemy, it'll cause damage. If it's on a friendly target, it'll heal them. That's going to be really nice for ret. That's going to be the DPS cooldown for ret. So it'll be nice having an extra cooldown, a little sort of 1-minute DPS cooldown. So that's all the talents gone through. I'm looking forward to some of the talents from ret, especially the last tier. The last tier does look really fun. So I hope you've enjoyed this quick look at the talents. Look out for more videos coming soon. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.